In Excel, the term data type might refer to the idea that a cell or a group of cells contain text or they contain numbers. But in 2019, Excel introduced a new feature called a data type. And at that time, there were only two data types, stocks and geography. But a new concept was introduced along with those data types, the idea of pulling in information from the internet, real-time data that could be refreshed. Stocks and geography has been expanded, and there are now preview data types available. We see them in the green panel here, and if you're an Office Insider, you can go to the Data tab and see these options available here. Now, a couple of examples will give us some insight into how this feature works. I've got data in column A. I want to pull in some nutritional information. So one approach certainly is to jump out to the internet, copy some data, say out of Wikipedia, come back here, paste it. But you know how cumbersome that can be? And is it up to date? That's another concern. And did I find all the information I wanted? Let's do this a little bit differently by first taking this data here and converting it into what's called a table. Not everybody works with this feature, but anytime you are working with lists, I think it's advantageous to convert the list into a table to get not only additional formatting capabilities, but also data handling efficiencies. So selecting this data over in column A, I'm envisioning a list here that's going to grow. I want to pull in some nutritional information. So after selecting the data, I'll press Control T, click OK. The data is now a table. This is not a prerequisite for using the new feature, but I do recommend it. Now, going to the Data tab in the ribbon, off to the right in the category called Data Types, we've got a drop arrow here. And in this case, the category is Food. Click it, and what are we doing? We're pulling in information from the internet. I can click on this cell for Apple right here, and clicking the actual icon, there is some information about an apple. And I can expand that greatly category by category. But what I really want to do here is to pull in some information, let's say, about calories. Here's a button. It's the quick analysis button. I'll click it. Here's lots of information. I'm interested in total calories. Click it. There it is. I'll do this again. And for the next column, I want carbohydrates. That's pulled in. At a later time, I might want to add another fruit. So I'll put in pear. As I press enter, the same sort of thing is going to happen here. Slight pause while Excel pulls in the data. Now, the information that we saw that was available out there is actually being stored in each of these cells in column A. And it can be refreshed. We can right click, there's data type, we can refresh it. We could convert it back to text if we wanted to. But in some cases, in some categories here, we can even pull in pictures and maps. I've got some data in column E, same general idea here too. I'll click within the data, convert it to a table, Control T, OK. Excel picks up all the contiguous data. I'll change the color for readability purposes up there. And once again, going to the Data tab, this time clicking the drop arrow, I'll choose Location. Convert to a location. This will take a bit longer. We will see a particular icon associated with each city, and again, the ability to pull in information. And there it is. I'm clicking the Quick Analysis button again. I want to get city population. There it is. I'm also interested in additional features. Another way to use this is by way of a formula. So I can type equal. I'll click over on New York City here, and we see the information listed this way. How about median household income? Double click, enter. And because it's a table, the data is pulled in more efficiently. And off to the right, we see other categories as well. Universities, mountains, movies, you can imagine others. And on a different worksheet here called Future Data Types, here are some of the additional data types that we will be seeing soon. If you are interested in the ability to get to these features, going back to that first worksheet here, go to insider.office.com. Now, there's another capability here that's pretty incredible, and that's the ability to set up data types using our own data. So on a different worksheet here called Employees List, here's a list that I need frequently. It's got many, many columns, nearly 750 rows. And I often need this data, but many times I don't need all of it. So what I've done ahead of time, and I'll give you just a brief overview, I've used a feature called Power Query. That's well beyond the scope of this course. I could have also used a feature called Power BI. That's a business analytics service from Microsoft. So selecting this data earlier, I went to Get and Transform on the Data tab and used the option called From Table Range. And this took me into the Power Query Editor. And there's an option there called Create Data Type. I did that ahead of time, and it was rather straightforward. So it's available. And here on the next worksheet is an example of having pulled in that data. I used an option here called Queries and Connections. I simply pulled in the column entry here. And here's an option by way of that quick analysis button, the same kind of information that we saw earlier. I simply want to show the compensation here and the status for the moment. That's all I need for now. At a later time, I might want to use this on a different worksheet or expand it in different ways by adding additional columns. If you are interested in how Power Query works or Power BI, which is even more powerful, I recommend these courses available in the LinkedIn library, Excel Power Query, and Power BI Essential Training. And as we've seen, the data types not only available with our own data, shown here, but those earlier examples with fruit and city, you can imagine how the way we talk about data types is quite different now. And even though I didn't show you the example of map and pictures, those too can be data type elements pulled into the information. If I lost internet access right now, I still have all this data available and I can add additional columns. So this is a new way of working with data. And I think you can see that for many users who work with lists of data, this is a powerful addition. It will change the way you work with Excel.